No, yeah, you could bring the whole thing around. You could keep the negative and just bring the 4. Like, there's lots of ways you could rewrite it. So this is the answer you guys should have gotten. Now, let me talk about, you guys are all like caught up on why I did ln. Why couldn't you just have done log? You could. The only difference here in your answer, is it would have been log 2 over negative 4 log 7 minus 3 log 2, which is still the same answer in the end. Okay, it's still going to be the same thing. So even when you're checking your answers on the answer key, I might use ln, or I might use log, or I might use whatever. Those would be my 2 choices. But what if you did something different? It's fine. It's still the same correct answer, again, as long as you're using something, right? That's a log of both sides. All right, any questions before we move on?
There's more?
Oh, there's more. We're not going to get through all of it, but I want to start. This part, you guys, this was all exponential equations, right? None of these equations started with a log. They were all exponential equations. Turn to the back. These are all now log equations. Okay, notice these all start with a log. The biggest thing you guys need to remember about log equations is that anytime it starts with log, you can sorry. Anytime you start, you guys are all sick already. That's why I need some fresh air. You get all these coughing out of here. If it starts with log equations, all right, Jimmy, have a seat. This is super important. You must check your answers. Oh, there's the groan. Okay. Must. It is 100% must. There is the possibility that there are extraneous solutions with logs. Okay? Why? Because, remember, when we graphed these and we did all the stuff with logs, you guys, logs have a restriction on their domain, right? They've got a vertical asymptote. Think about the graph. So there's only a certain domain that works for log equations. And so if you get an answer that's not in that domain, it's going to be extraneous. So you have to check. You can always just find your domain first and then check that your answer is in it, or you can just plug your answer back in and make sure it works. So you've got 2 options, okay? I think most people like to just check your answers and plug it back in, but sometimes, like on the homework, I think I wrote a space for checking your domain. You could do it that way too. All right, these first ones are pretty simple. When you just have a log equal to a number, you're just going to switch to exponential. So go ahead and switch that to exponential form. What's it going to become? Yeah, so start with base 3, raise it to your exponent of 3. So 3 to the 3rd equals x squared minus 2, right? We're just rewriting from log form into exponential form. What is 3 to the 3rd? 27. Keep going. X squared minus 2 plus 2 plus 2, 29. What does x equal? Plus or minus the square root of 29. Okay, so now we got to check to see if they work. Okay, now what are we checking for? Let's think about this. You're checking for that domain. What did we say about the argument of a log? What does it always have to be?
Greater than 0.
Greater than 0. This always has to be positive. So that's what you're checking. If I take this number and plug it back in, will this still be positive? And if they both work, you're good, and you're done. This one's always because you're squaring it. So whether you square the positive root 29 or you square the negative root 29, you're still going to get 29 minus 2, and you're good to go. It's still going to be positive. So that's all you're checking for. All right, try letter B. Same idea. Did you guys like those extra credits? They should have been very familiar. They weren't that hard.
They were so hard.
They were math team fun. Move the 16 over to the other side. And then back here. Make it a 5. There you go. Yep. All right, you should have gotten something that factors, right? Hopefully. Does it factor? First step, good. So because this is like a quadratic here, does this factor?
X minus 8.
Beautiful. So what are my two answers? So 8 and negative 2, right? We still got to check, okay? So again, what are we checking? You're going to take each of those. Let's talk about checking. Plug them back in and make sure that this whole argument is positive. So if I plug in an 8, I would get 8 squared minus 6 times 8. So that's 64 minus 48. Is that positive? Yes. Try the negative 2. It'd be negative 2 squared minus 6 times negative 2. Why doesn't that work?
Oh, wait.
That's positive. I was like, wait a second. You are squaring the negative, right? So it becomes positive 4, and then it's a negative 6 times negative 2. So positive 12. So we're good. So these both work. So far we haven't seen an extraneous. Doesn't mean there aren't going to be any. But you do want to keep checking. Okay. What time is it? Oh, I'm done. All right. That's as far as I went. Homework. I will make a note of which ones you're going to be able to do. Because you're not going to be able to do any of these last few that I didn't get to. So I'll write something online that'll tell you, because you're going to have to skip around. Okay? So just refresh the website, make sure you're following which ones I tell you to do. All right? And to be continued mañana. Have a wonderful day.